Hello, everybody. So this is Timberborn, the experimental mode. I'm going to be showing you the new flow dynamics for water, how they affect the water wheels, and a perpetual uh, energy machine that you can now build using the mechanical water pumps. So this is my second take of this. My microphone wasn't working the first time, so hopefully everything goes well this time. Let's see, test 3. This map has been designed just to show how things work with stuff. Use normal mode. And sit here and wait for it to load. Let's call this one stream 2. Alright, we're going to give them some food and uh, water right away here. Don't really need the beavers for any real purpose since actually platforms. Since they're not going to actually be building anything, but I'll keep them alive just for the hell of it. The beaver there. I'll give them a gathering flag. Farmhouse. Build some houses over here. We'll let them breed a little bit. And plant some crops. Just carrots. Alright, so in this new version, water wheels now affect uh, the water flow back. So when you put one in the channel, this is a very straight flow, so they're gonna it's not gonna flow around it too badly. But as you can see, it is uh, wrapping around it some, so though it's still generating 170 horsepower. So that's pretty good. Um, if I widen that out at all, you can really. I don't need it that big. Oh. That tool's always a pain. We'll put a little bit of widening in the channel there. It becomes even more obvious. All right. We'll put 3 across and you can see this side because that one is pushing the flow over this way. So this one's getting more flow, so that one's got a higher output. This one's getting a somewhat normal flow yet. And this one's got reduced flow. If you were to go with just one on the side, you'll notice now it's even lower because there's nothing pushing the flow back to it. And how it works is the fastest flow that hits the water wheel is what actually determines the power. Um, so if you put them in pairs across a 4-well channel, you should get even power across the two. Um, Landscaping. Now the real thing is, if you narrow the flow, you're gonna increase the flow across it, and you get quite a bit more power by pushing that water in narrow. And uh, if you really narrow it down, not sure why in this one it's doing it that way. There's going up. As you can see, those are putting out about 2. So just narrowing, with one water wheel, if you narrow that flow down, you'll get the same power output as you would off the two. Pretty much the same as you would off the two side by side. Um, and where it really becomes a bonus to do this. What the hell? Bumping the side buttons on the mouse. But where it really affects it is when you start putting them in series. Of course, now it wants to flood. But for the first one, I mean, you'll get equivalent of having the two water wheels, but now you can start putting them in series and have a huge power output from each one. Um, so that's the real trick now is directing your water flow enough where uh, you're not flooding things out, but to maximize your water flow through the channel. I'm not sure if I take these out if that'll help with that. Let's see if that'll. Well, that pushes it back up farther. Um, and the smoothness of that transition can affect it as well. Um, as you can see, the power output's even higher now. So if you narrow it down too quickly, you'll cause turbulence that will uh, affect it as well. Did that hurt or did that help? That helped. As you can see, the slower it narrows down, you'll get a slight improvement there. But if you just throw one in a channel willy-nilly, I mean, you can end up with almost no power at all. Uh, I'm sure if I put one over here now, it'll try to go around. I'm still doing 160. Now I can show you over here on the single channel about the narrowing as well. And I'll show you two examples of them being in series and just how much effect having the levies narrowing down in between each one. And so we got, now if we put the additional levies in, give them a moment to even out here. No, they're producing less than 100, and these are up to almost 200 rank. So it does basically double the power output by doubling the flow speed. So when you're building, it's something to keep in mind. If I was to add a bend in, oh, let me add a bend in over here, or 3. Most of the maps tend to force you to build on bends, and it um, that one's 130, that one's 170. So this one's getting flow that's going pretty much straight yet. And this one's getting that side flow and actually pushing it around. If you were to try to build it on this side, you're you're gonna be doing even, far worse. 90 and 102, because now the water's got that straight path where it's just gonna pretty much most of the flow will bypass. Um, so it's something to be aware of that they do push back. They will push the flow around. So um, get rid of this. Just get rid of the flooding, and I want to straighten that back out. I might just give it a I'll give it a little exit up the map here in case it does flood over. Anyway, I want to leave those there to get the perpetual motion machine started that we're going to build now. So, our first thing is to build up a reservoir. Perpetual motion machines will work with anywhere from 1 to 4 pumps. The key is that you need 16 water wheels to recuperate enough power from whatever flow that the pumps are putting out to maintain the uh, cycle. So I want to make the reservoir big enough for 5 pumps. First pump, with just 1 pump, you don't get a lot of power increase. With 2, it's okay. 3 and 4 provide proportional increases above the second one. The fifth one provides some extra power, but not uh, as much as the increase from 2 to 3 and 3 to 4. So um, we're going to build it wide enough for 4 channels. It's going to be it's going to pump the water up 4 levels. Um, so let's see. The new pumps, mechanical pumps, they block, unlike all the other buildings, do block water like like a levee does. So you can build them into the side of your reservoir, and they will not pump water higher than their side. So they cannot overflow the reservoir. So we need to take out that one and that one, and then these two. So we need a triple floodgate in each of these. This one is to provide power to the first level when you're starting it. What we'll do is we'll fill up the reservoir to about 2.5, and then we'll open that floodgate up, which will get the lower level going. And you can, this is an expandable design. You only have to build the first level to actually get some power, and then you can, as you get more, as you get the resources, you can build the second level and then the third and fourth. Um, so we're gonna leave an area of 2 here. Actually, these don't go there. That will be the drop down area for that level. I didn't even click up there. And then we're going to have a channeling levee for each wheel. And we're going to go 24 wheels long. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 22, 23, 24, and we'll have our back uh, wall there. Oh, well, I was thinking water came out. So this is our first layer. I don't know why I was thinking that water came out of there. So these will not be here. We do need a set of levees down here. And then a set of single floodgates here. Initially we set these to height 1, and that is that they will hold the water in for starting up the first level, which will allow the water to come down here. We'll have a second set of floodgates down here. We'll add some levees in the drainage line here. So initially we'll have the water coming down this way, and it'll come out of these to start the first layer up. And that's all you need to build at to get the first level, to one level going. You'll add your water wheels and your power shaft here. intersections, each one of these. I'm gonna add in platforms here, a single one and a double. This is to set up our power shaft up using a high power shaft to reach the pumps. And that's the first level. Now obviously we're going to need some power coming in. You can do it with as little as one beavers on a power wheel. It would be really slow to get enough water into the reservoir to get the system started. You're gonna because you have to fill it up to about that 2.5 line to get it running good. Um, but we have these water wheels here, so we can connect them up and get the filling. And that's exactly what we'll do. I've used windmills and things as well to do it. Um, it doesn't have to be steady power. Like I said, you're just filling up the reservoir enough to open the floodgates and get everything moving. So even in the middle of a drought, if you've got some power source that will get the water in there, working at 31%. Well, while that's filling, I will finish building the other layers. Um, you can build a larger setup uh, using paired wheels in a 4 wide channel. Um, depends how much power you actually want to get in the end. I think you actually get a bit more power out of the wheels with just a single channel because you can force the water through it faster than you do through the double for some reason. It's just the mechanics, flow mechanics in the game of how it's treating the double channel coming out of the reservoir versus a single tile opening. So I believe you're not going to achieve the full power of 5 through the single channel there. I think it will try keep filling up beyond there. Um, because that fifth pump actually provides a little bit more water than what can flow through the channels. All right, so back to landscaping. So there's the second level. What is it doing? Uh, um, to build this with beavers, you would just put platforms and paths across the top of each of the high ones so that they can build down. Um, so this is completely buildable by beavers that way. Um, if you were to do a uh, four wide, you'd actually have to give the beavers access down in each channel, and so that's another disadvantage of that of going bigger. It does not pay to go up more than one step with these with the pumps, because your power uh, you're going to spend a lot of logs building all the levees, unless you're going up the side of a hill. Um, you're just going to use up a bunch of logs that you don't need to because it's cheaper just to build another uh, single step up one rather than going up as high as you can. So I actually started building one on my test map where I wanted to see just how high I could build it, and at the end of the second step up, I realized, what am I doing? It's just not gonna gain anything. Not like it takes any less power to raise it each one or anything. So no, that doesn't go there. No, I'm getting carried away. All right, that catches from there. It's there. Went a little farther with that than I need to. I don't need those in there. All right. So these don't, those don't belong there. Move these. And if you want to play around with stuff like this on your own, I really suggest you get the creative mod. Um, if you don't want to use the anyone's mod manager to do it, you put the BepInEx directory into your Timberborn directory, and then the mods go in the plugin directory in the BepInEx. Um, the creative mod doesn't completely disable when you turn creative mode off for some reason, so when you go back to playing a regular game, you do have to take the mod out of the plugin directory. But BepInEx includes a mod by default that lets you, as you saw when I started this, got to name the city um, and whatnot, and that creates puts all the saves for that settlement into a separate directory rather than having them all mixed together. It doesn't, or it automatically deletes old autosaves, so you're only getting or three or four of them in the directory at a time instead of having my first long playthrough. I think I ended up like 50 autosaves in my main directory, and it'd be nice if that'd be something the devs would add into the main game itself. But no, my first thought when I heard they added mechanical pumps in, because I've been talking to someone on Catherine of Sky's Discord about things that it'd be nice to see added into the game, and I mentioned mechanical water pumps. And I said they could be, unfortunately, they could be easily exploited to create perpetual energy machines. So as soon as I heard that the experimental was out with mechanical pumps, the first thing I had to do was come come into creative mode here and see if I could do it. And here we are. It's not the 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 changes to the water flow and water wheels made it take a bit more effort than it would have had they not made those changes. But I knew it could be done. Um, all right. I do wish they could fix how the game stutters like that, and sometimes you end up with things not where you clicked, and but I don't know how much of that the developers could actually fix. A lot of the lagginess and whatnot is Unity engine based. It's not anything that the developers have done. Unity, um, when it does updates um, or for the scripting, requires basically a frozen snapshot of the game state. So it's single threaded. It doesn't matter how many cores and threads your computer can handle. Unity cannot really take advantage of it. So I'm running an uh, 8 core 16 thread processor with 32 gigabytes of RAM, and it can really only use uh, it'll use 2 cores, but only 1 thread on each of those 2 cores. So that's where a lot of performance issues with the game come in from, unfortunately. Looks like we're ready to go here, other than running the power between the levels, and we'll do that back here. Need some platforms. And the reason I'm doing it back here, I just throw in there anyway, is that once it's all running, you can disconnect 16 of the water wheels from the rest of the system, and they'll just power the pumps. So you'll never be able to stall out the system by uh, taking too much power from it like you could if you didn't do that. It's not really necessary though, as long as you pay attention to how much available power you have when you are adding buildings. So you don't go over what your array is able to produce. And looks like we have enough water in there to get it all started. Let's double check all these settings. That's up. That's down. So we'll delete this. And I'll show you how to cold start Perpetual Energy. And all it takes is to slowly lower this down until you get flow coming down. And we'll pause the fifth. We'll go down 2 pumps. Just at first. And we have reached power we're consuming. We actually have a bit more flow coming through there right now because it's draining the reservoir down slightly at the moment. But 2 pumps out with a single level won't provide a lot of extra power. It will provide you some. It'll provide you enough to get the resources to build the other pumps you. And the way I would recommend doing that is if you can only afford to build 2 pumps at first when you're doing this because of a metal shortage or lack of gears. put levees around the front of each of one of these so that you can put your pump in and then take the levees out. Because you don't, you're not, you obviously won't be able to build, knock out the walls and build the pumps before you, or without, well, you could as long as you're not running the top, as long as you're only running the two levels. If you're running all four, you can't build more pumps in without making sure the water is not going to run out of that top level of the reservoir. But there we are. We're producing over 800 horsepower extra that way. Now we'll turn another pump on. Well, we don't need to be on dead slow speed. We'll run faster so we can get the wheels to balance out here and see what we end up with it for a total there. It also does take a little bit of time for water wheels to spin up now. Um, so it's not instantly going from 0 to 180 like it uh, did previously. So there we are, up over 1,000 horsepower net. We should reach about 1,050 net here, which we're up to almost 1,100 actually. It may drop down once it a little bit after it all uh, equals out, because you do have the wave action in the channels. Um, the developers call it the tsunamis. But and we can go to the fourth one and should end up around 1,400 net out of that. Now, when we start the next level up, what we will do is pause. Yeah, there we are. We're up into that range. So to start the next level up, we're going to pause. We're going to shut this one, bring it all the way up. We're going to open these up. I'm going to shut these. This will reverse the flow on these. And then we're going to open this one up to a height of 1.5. And we'll unpause. I think our water was a little low there. Might have to drop that down to another one. Water wasn't up quite as high as it could have been. Well, it was also kind of stalled as a reverse direction. And here's where the big power gains start. Since we don't expend any more energy uh, to operate those three. We're getting some flooding there. Raise that up. There we go, more water again. You can't raise this above 1.5 before you're ready to start the upper level though. Once you hit 2, the water will start heading down that upper channel. Um, unless you put some temporary levees in up across the top of there and delete them right before you're ready to start that top level. Well, we got some flooding over. Had some flooding over there. May have just been surging back and forth. We're up at a 6,000 horsepower gain up and still climbing. Where he's up to. They should get up to around 190 horsepower once they level out. There we go. And that's about leveled out. So now to start the upper level up, we'll actually just raise that all the way up because we should have enough momentum in those 48 wheels to easily pump the water all the way up. There we go. My earlier designs, you actually had to start to sequentially start pumps and and whatnot. This is a much easier way of doing it with using the floodgates to just raise the water level up. So the other way actually felt like when I used when I when I was nuclear reactor operator in the Navy and we were starting the reactors up and had to get things going sequentially in steps to get it up and running. What, Mooser? Mm, you want attention. Mm, you want attention. It will take it a minute to get all running smoothly again, and then it can take a few minutes for it to work all of the waves out of the system. Um, the four-layer system has been very ends up usually ends up where it's only varying a couple of horsepower once the system's all equalized. Um, it was actually dried out before it. It stretches across most of a 128 block wide map, but one system will provide most settlements that you come up with all the power it needs. Maybe if you got a ton of beavers and maybe you build two. I mean, you'll have 30,000 horsepower. I don't know what you could build that would use all of that, but I mean, if you still need more, you can always build a third or a fourth or yeah. I mean, here we are over 15,000 or yeah, we're over 14,000 net and we're still going up and we're not even at maximum power yet. There's 15,000 net. We've still got another pump we can turn on to provide a bit more boost yet. And look, it's getting the steadying out now. So that's right around 15,000 right now. Going down a little bit. I'm going to turn the speed up and let that equalize. do here is we will 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. We'll just disconnect that last one. So this is now providing 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. We must have tweaked something again. Now we're going to need 17 wheels. Why is it going down? We're running out. Oh. Oh, we got enough water there. Oh, we are running out of water. I need a dam there. That's the one thing you're going to have to worry about. I forgot I needed a dam on that. Yeah, they're actually sucking air at moments there. They're not keeping up with the... We gotta make it to 3 days. What you may want to do is use the pumps to fill up an extra reservoir for your replenishment water during the drought as well. Um, you know, lots of ways to ensure water stability once you've got this much power, and you can make the reservoirs. You can move water from one reservoir to another all you want. Possibilities come endless when you don't have to worry about the power to the pumps. So Instant recovery. I'll turn that fifth pump on and I'll show you how it peaks out. And I'm going to end the stream. And as you're making changes to your water channels and everything now, you have to be patient and watch what changes are happening as you after a while when you make them. You know, things aren't the instant response that they were with the water wheels before. So we still got the waves moving through the channels. Uh, that's over 15,000 horsepower net. That'll run a lot of machinery. It's still surging. It is a bit more surgy when you have the fifth pump running because it's trying to pump right to that maximum level. With four, it's slightly below the fifth one. Uh, Makes it so the action of the pumps cause surges. So but there it is. Perpetual Energy and Timberborn. Thanks for watching, and everyone have a good night.